Now maybe I'm going live. There we go. Started talking preemptively there. Anyway, folks, I just wanted to come on and update you on Amendment 3 a little bit. And basically, I called Representative Hicks's office number Monday, I believe. I think it was Monday evening. And he returned my call today on his way home from, from the Capitol. He was heading back to St. Louis, I guess. And in essence, we had a conversation. I said, "Hey, I know you reintroduced your bill, HB2. It used to be HB 2704. Now it's HB2." And I asked him what his response was from some of the other people in the House. And he said the people in the House have been very nice about it. They said, "Hey, it'd be great to get this done." Good evening, Mad Mom Anon. And, he said it'd be really, he's had a lot of positive response after submitting this bill for the special session. Okay. So a lot of people in the House are, like, "Hey, this would be great if you could get this done. Glad to see that you, resubmitted the bill," so on and so forth. But here's the thing. I'm going to ask that you call I'm going to ask that you call the House, your state reps. This is what I'm going to ask you to do. And here's why. He told me that they had a hearing today on sports betting. Now, there's no bill been submitted for sports betting in the state of Missouri. He said, nobody's calling me about sports betting, but a lot of people are approaching me about my marijuana bill. But yeah, so instead of looking at his bill, putting it up, putting it on the floor for debate, whatever, they decided to go have a hearing on sports betting in the state. Now, he's on that committee, and he said, I didn't even go. Because he's like, it's just unbelievable that I've submitted a bill and they're ignoring it, but yet they're going to talk about sports betting in Missouri. So he's a little he's a little irritated, and rightfully so. And so what I told him is, I said, okay, well, I'm going to ask that people make phone calls to their state reps. I'm talking about people in the House, and ask them, or and tell them, HB20, your HB2 has been submitted. Why are we talking about sports betting in a committee hearing? Why are we doing a hearing on sports betting when we can be doing something better? You could be at least looking at my bill, talking about my bill, voting it through a committee or whatever. But we're doing sports betting in the state. So they're ignoring it again. And so I told him, my mission now really is to make sure that Amendment 3 is defeated in November, and try to apply some pressure as far as the House Bill 2, Ron Hicks's bill on legalization of recreational marijuana. But again, does it surprise me? No. Now, there are he said he has a lot of people who are more than happy to support him on this bill. And they really want to, a lot of them understand that it is no longer necessary to spend resources on busting people for pot, okay? They understand that. They get that. And so they're happy to, say, hey, we're behind you 100%. And, who knows if it's Plocker or who is just like, whatever. And he said something to me that I found interesting. And he said, I've told them before to not elect someone to Speaker of the House a year before that they'd actually get that job. You do it right before, so you get to see how they act before you choose that person. And he said, I've warned them about this before. And he and I talked about the House floor rules, and he agrees things need to change in the House. And the floor rules need to be changed where two people don't get to decide what bills hit the floor and what doesn't get to hit the floor. So we had a really good conversation. I did ask him about coming on with me at some point. He agreed to come on for an interview. And, of course, we're going to talk. Our main talking point is going to be about legalization of marijuana. What I do want you guys, and I know you've already done this, please continue to educate folks around you about how bad Amendment 3 is. Also, ask them to call their state rep and say, why are, you've had a bill submitted. Why are we focusing on sports betting? There are a lot of people in Missouri that want to see this marijuana thing get done. Not on a ballot in the Constitution, but legislatively. Now, and he does understand there are some people who are so desperate to get legal weed in Missouri that they're just going to go ahead and vote yes on Amendment 3. Now, what he did say is if Amendment 3 would pass in November, he planned on breaking down his bill into parts to try to make people's ease up on the restrictions and so forth set forth in the Constitution. So legislatively, he's going to look at ways around Amendment 3 if it would pass in November. But let's do our job. Let's educate folks. And thank you, Mad Mom. She said, I called. I'll go through the whole list. Appreciate that. But we got to keep educating folks on this. And I would ask that you would call your state rep and talk to them and say, why do you have a bill submitted by Representative Hicks, and instead you have a hearing on sports betting? What's the thing? And the only thing I can think of is they're looking at all the tax money that they could bring in. Like they haven't had a windfall of tax revenue over the past couple of years. This is one of the more irritating parts about this. They're looking at sports betting, trying to figure out the numbers on how much taxes they can get from sports betting. And that's the only reason they're looking at it, because of the income for the state. And yet we have a record budget of $48 billion in the state of Missouri. We have a record budget in this state, and they cannot be happy with that. They have to continue to try to get more tax revenue in. Yeah, and Mad Mom says, yeah, and the roads are still trash. Good thing we got that gas tax, huh? I'm seeing, of course they're like, whoa, we're shorthanded. Listen, this gas tax went through right around the time of the pandemic and all that. There's no foresight in these people. There's no looking ahead. Again, judging bills by the intent and not the outcome. Pushing crap legislation through. Pushing higher taxes through based on intent, not outcome. That's a big problem in almost any government institution you look at. You get these people who base everything on intent and not outcome, based on emotion, not logic. So, again, I ask you to call your state rep and ask them to look at Ron Hicks's bill. Okay? See if we can get it done. Because if we can get this done, Amendment 3 is trash. It goes into the trash heap. Goes into the memory hole. The only people who are going to vote yes on that are people who have no idea what's going on around them. Everybody else is like, dude, we already got legal weed. Amendment 3 is meaningless. It's useless. And they'll just, no. And Man Mom makes a good point. Yeah, or them acting like the income tax isn't going to happen regardless. Yeah, the income tax rate cut was going to happen because of a law in like 2014, 2016. That when state, funding was so much, there would be an automatic income tax cut. That was going to happen. Now, if the governor would do it, it would happen in January. If it didn't, it was like, I don't know, September, October, maybe August, it would, whatever. But it was already going to happen. This is a way for the governor to sweeten the pot by pushing those credit or those tax cuts a little early and joining them with his agricultural tax credits. So, little trickery going on. And again, please educate those around you about the agricultural tax credits. And they're not really for family farms or for the big ag outfits, really. Don't forget to educate people on that and educate them on the removal of sales tax from groceries. Because the bill submitted by the Senate, the 3 proposals, nothing in there about sales tax on groceries. There's something else to hit the. I'm talking of. And no, Man Mom, I did not check out the agricultural tax cuts. I just know they're unconstitutional, and that's as far as I went with it. But please make sure you call your state rep. The Senate's already sent their proposals to the House. Call your state representative and ask them to amend one of those to add the removal of sales tax from groceries. And while we're at it, let's see if we can't get Ron Hicks's bill, House Bill 2, onto the floor during the special session to the Senate, to the governor. Let's kill 2 birds with 1 stone. Yeah, Jonathan Ashley says, yet they care about our farmers, the big corporate farms. And that's exactly right. That's exactly right. And it's people got to wrap their head around this. Man Mom says the Senate bill is garbage. I did see the Senate bill. And I did see that there were a few senators that were concerned about the cut to the income tax. Instead of 4.8, it should be 4.95%. Because what happens if we don't keep this tax inflow coming in, and what if the amount of tax collected, what if those numbers go down? Well, then cut spending somewhere. Do like the rest of us folks out here who work a 9-to-5 job. When we don't have as much money coming in, we have to figure out ways to cut our spending. The state should be able to do the same thing. But that's just my opinion. But yeah, I actually posted the article on my Facebook page and Twitter about the 3 proposals from the Senate that they're moving, that they were sending to the House on the income tax cut and the agricultural tax credits. So there's that. Again, I ask you to call your state rep. Do what you can. Again, I know it's a long shot, folks. It's not, I'm not saying, oh, this is going to be easy. But it's worth the fight. If we can do this in order to just automatically pretty much slam the door on Amendment 3, I mean, what's the hurt? If we could get recreational marijuana and sales tax on groceries in the same whack, man, outstanding. That would just sweeten the pot even more. But we can only do what we can, right? But we'll see what we can get done here. I wanted to do a short video And hey, Voodoo Queen. I wanted to do a short video and update you. So again, for those of you just joining me, I spoke to Ron Hicks on the phone this afternoon on my way home from work. Asked him about the response from state reps about him submitting his bill, HB2, which was previously known as HB 2704. Oh boy! Excuse me for yawning. It's been a long day. He told me that the response from the state reps had been good, but instead of moving and acting on his bill, they had a hearing on sports betting in the state of Missouri. So, though he does have support, there are some folks in there apparently who do not want this to see the light of day. So that's why I'm asking everyone to call their state rep and ask them to make sure that HB 2704 at least sees the light of day. Put it on the floor for debate. And, and then it's in the Senate's hand, and then it's in the governor's hand after that. This is what I know to do. But Representative Hicks, again, rightfully so, was very upset that he submitted a bill and they want to talk about sports betting. And we know which one is more important to the people of the state of Missouri, and it certainly isn't sports betting. Definitely not sports betting. We know what it is. But yeah, folks, that's pretty much it in a nutshell. I'd love to see the sales tax removed from groceries. Hopefully somebody in the House will have the intestinal fortitude to amend one of the proposals from the Senate and include that. And I would also love to see Ron Hicks's bill hit the House floor. So make your phone calls to your reps on the sales tax on groceries, of course. Also, this is me personally, okay? You don't have to do it if you don't want. And I know Patrick and the Missouri Freedom Initiative would love to see the sales tax on groceries eliminated, and I am all for that. Personally, I would like to see Ron Hicks's bill make it through as well. I would love to see that. We'll see what happens. But that is, I will be calling my state rep and leaving a message with him. And like I said, Representative Hicks said now he's an advocate. He's not a rep right now. Now he's an advocate, and he does. He said the amount of people that showed up for the rally for his bill when they had the cannabis freedom rally, he said that was very heartwarming to him. And he said, that bill really, he got a lot of support. Something else in his bill that I was unaware of that law enforcement asked about. Law enforcement asked about education on marijuana compared to other things because they said they just don't get educated well on that. So they literally said, can you get some funds in here to educate law enforcement? Now, these are law enforcement officials that say, we're tired of spending resources on arresting people for marijuana. They're done with that. It's a waste of their time. They understand it. I mean, that's just the mindset now. Ron Hicks's bill would remove it from the schedule, remove the word drug from the description. It takes enforcement out on law enforcement's part. Amendment 3 doesn't do that. Amendment 3 does not do that. And Voodoo Queen says, yes, she wants to see both happen, so do I. Removal of sales tax from groceries and Ron Hicks's bill, not Amendment 3, legalizing marijuana the right way through the legislature, a more free market approach. I would love to see both of those things happen. If Ron Hicks's bill doesn't go through, my only mission from here until November is do my darndest to make sure Amendment 3 does not get passed in November. That's it. because there's nothing going to be happening in the legislature till really February of next year. I mean, we got some state elections coming up, so on and so forth, but I am worried about getting it. That Amendment 3 is going to be my baby. That's the thing I'm working on. So I will have Ron Hicks on with me, hopefully in the not-too-distant future, to talk about all these different things. But again, short video, just to let you know, Ron Hicks and I had a discussion today. I now have his cell phone number, so I can call him, text him at any time, and ask him about how things are going, what have you, and then I will schedule an interview with him. It may not be till November, because actually I might get it done in October. I was going to try to get some candidates back on, Catherine, Robert. There's a Jeff Coleman who's also running for either Senate or state rep. I don't remember. Libertarian candidate, going to try to get him on. But I will try to get, it may not be a Friday night. I may just do a live stream with Representative Hicks for a bit and put it on, be on YouTube for people to listen to. I may even record it and just put it up as an extra podcast. But that's the plan, to have him on very soon, and we can discuss this more in detail. And I don't want to disclose everything we had, that we talked about, because I don't know if he'd be comfortable with that. I'm just trying to hit the main points. So, yeah, that's it, folks. Thanks to all of those who tuned in to the live stream. Greatly appreciate you. Again, this Friday on the Missouri Liberty Report, I'll be joined by Daniel Miller from the Texas Nationalist Movement. And then the following Friday will be Ben Brown, who's running for my state district for state senate. And very conservative guy, big pro-gun guy. Let's see what other things that he and I can come to, that we agree on. Because I'm pretty sure right now he's got my vote, but I'd like to have a nice long conversation with him and just pick his brain over some topics. So, again, thanks to everybody. I'll see you on Friday night. Hey, Warrior Class. Good to see you, buddy. Thanks to all, Jonathan Ashley, Mad Mom, Voodoo Queen, Warrior Class 3, all those that tuned in. Greatly appreciate all of you. Again, I will see you Friday night at 6:30 p.m. here on the Missouri Liberty Report with Daniel Miller and the Texas Nationalist Movement to talk about nothing, a hot topic, I believe, nowadays,